What's up, Starcraft fans? Some months ago, someone uploaded a screenshot of Raynor's game against Hearthstone, where he was able to average 932 actions per minute throughout their entire game. Actions per minute, basically, for those who don't know, means the number of times you click or press a button in the game. So every minute, he averages 932 clicks and presses of his keyboard and mouse the entire game. And I thought, well, is this possible in co-op? Because remember, 1v1 uses real time, and co-op uses blizzard time, which is about 1.3, I think, 1.6, something like that. 1 point something seconds faster than real time. So I have to click even faster just to maintain the speed. So I started a challenge for myself. Is it possible to average this much APM throughout the course of an entire game? To answer that, we are going into this replay of Missed Opportunities, the map where we have to protect Stetman's bots from the attack waves of Amon, as the bots follow these tracks and harvest Terrazine. So I have a trick, and you can probably see what it is right here. So what I do is I have my infested colonist compound selector, or not even. I pressed the top bar, the first top bar, which is move the psi emitter, and then I hold down the shift button, and then I use the rapid fire key to just kind of spam click. It's basically spam clicking where the psi emitter would go, and you can see it does average over 1000 APM. And there's a catch here. You can see the current APM is clearly less than 1000. So what is happening is, every time I have to do something productive, something actually productive, it actually lowers my APMs. Look, my APM starts going up when I'm just spamming the psi emitter, but I'm actually doing useful stuff. It goes way down, like it's down to 70 APM. Like now it's 80. I'm still doing stuff, but it's still helpful, but it's clearly not as fast as just maintaining the spam click of rapid fire. So my challenge for the entire game is to find enough bandwidth that I can spam. You can see now set. It went up to like 2500 APM at one point. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it was kind of crazy. So right now, I'm building an engineering bay so I can get upgrades. I'm building a barracks so I can make bunkers. The barracks unlocks the ability to make bunkers. So now, I'm also making a command center so I can harvest more minerals, making more workers, and just trying to get my economy up. I'm just trying to get my infrastructure up so I can build more stuff and win the game and have more downtime. The downtime is the most critical part here, because again, during the downtime I can spam hotkeys and get insane APM like this. Like I'm just spamming the attack or the psi emitter command. Now I'm not. Look, you see, I'm actually doing useful stuff, and I'm getting punished for it by having a lower APM. And you can kind of see the argument against APM. So whenever we see people talking about StarCraft, when we're talking about StarCraft in general, not a particular game, not a particular race or game mode, it usually floats back to StarCraft in general requires a lot of APM. That's what people say. You need a lot of fast clicking to be able to be successful at StarCraft. And I actually always find myself disagreeing with that. I don't consider myself a fast player in the professional gamer sense of the word. I consider myself a slow player. You can probably see it. When I'm doing useful stuff, my APM floats around 80 to 120. That's usually my range when I'm doing productive stuff. I'm trying to build units, I'm trying to control my army, trying to get upgrades, trying to increase supply, improve my economy. And that's usually enough for me to win. Because the APM, when you see professional gamers get up to their, like, usually when I watch professional games, their APM usually goes up to 300 to 400, sometimes 200 when it's not that active. Actually, the funny thing is, the APM actually goes higher when they're not active. Like at the start of the games, you can actually watch a professional game about this. You can see that the APM is higher in the stage of the game where they're just making one worker at a time and nothing else. Maybe scouting, but the reason is they're artificially inflating their APM. Not quite as effective as this, as Stukov Scimeter, but what professional gamers do, and not even professional, like semi-pros and non-professionals, who are just kind of trying to improve at the game, they just inflate their APM by mashing buttons on the keyboard to get the number higher. They claim it's to keep their hands warm, to keep their fingers active, so that they won't feel joint pain maybe. But I've tried that. It doesn't really, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not doing it properly, but whenever I try to do that for myself, I feel like it's just sort of my ADHD kicking in, where I just feel a compulsive need to press buttons and stuff without, actually having that do anything. Whenever I have to switch from just mashing buttons on the keyboard to actually doing something productive, I find that my APM actually decreases. Maybe it's because I don't play versus frequently enough. I know in versus, it's more taxing on your mechanics because you constantly have to make stuff, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to play faster. I've maintained for the longest time now that Starcraft and Starcraft II are not games of being the fastest player. Maybe it is for like the top 0.01% of players. The top 0.01% of players. The 1% of the 1%. Those are the guys who need to worry about being faster than the other and just out mechanicking, just out being everywhereing their opponent. But for 99% of players, in fact 99.99% of players, it's not about being faster. It's all about remembering what to do next. Because lots of people think that the actions per minute will dictate what things you're able to do. That, I maintain, is only true for the 0.01%. For 99%, is the other way around. It's actually what you remember to do and how fast you are in remembering them that dictates how fast you're able. Look at this 25. That means I'm spamming. I'm spamming the APM thing. But yeah, from my experience as someone who does not play 1v1, the speed at which you remember what to do next, whether it's to make a worker, get upgrades, scout with your units, control your army, build an overlord or a depot or a pylon, or get a tech structure or start an upgrade, the rate at which you remember to do things is what dictates your APM, not the other way around. So I feel like the notion that APM is required for StarCraft is wrong. It's more like APM is a consequence of playing StarCraft well, not a determining factor of whether you're able to play well. It dictates, well, I guess the APM just is an indicator of how fast you remember to do things, but not the determining factor. Because again, you can just be like me and who's just mashing a single button, and that's not really doing anything. All I'm doing is mashing this hotkey. It's not actually doing it. Look, it's just the same action. It's just the same action over and over again. The same action is command the psi emitter and then drop the psi emitter. Command the psi emitter, drop the psi emitter. Command the psi emitter. It's just that times 1,000 per second. That's all I'm doing, and it's not really productive. It's not really making me play better than my ally. All that does is inflate a number artificially. If you want to get into StarCraft and you're worried that you're not fast enough, don't be. I am of the opinion that if you want to get better at StarCraft, what you need to do is increase your management skills. I think that StarCraft, for 99.99% of players, is a management game. You have to remember what to do next. You have to remember the order in which you like to build stuff. You have to remember what is a good response to what you see. For example, if you send an overlord across the map, you see like a cybernetics core and a couple pylons, and then you check they have taken all 4 gases. You have to remember quickly. I mean, there's still an element of quickness, but not a mechanical quickness. It's a mental quickness. It's all about remembering what you have to do next, not clicking faster than your opponent. That's the critical thing. Ooh, look, ooh, my ally just ate a lot of storm damage. Oh my goodness. So, I'm not sure what my ally was doing this time. He was definitely controlling his army. Okay, maybe in this case, if my ally was watching his rates, and he saw that his rates getting stormed, and he was not moving out of the way, that could be a case of him simply not clicking enough. But it could also be him or her simply not realizing that his units were being stormed, because there is such a thing as tunnel vision, and it does happen to me a lot. Like, when you're so fixated on targeting a unit, for example here, both your eyes are hyper fixated on that one spot, and you fail to realize, oh hold on, you fail to realize that your units on another part of the screen are getting damaged heavily. So again, the fault there is not being slow in clicking. The fault there is tunnel vision and not realizing, like, lack of awareness of what's on, I would call this like 94% of the screen, 93% of the screen, and hyperfixating on what you're clicking. Like, for example, if my ally is clicking this part of the map, he could be hyperfixating on one spot instead of watching his rates and not seeing them get stormed. Like, if you check this production tab, that is usually, especially in 1v1, the production tab is usually an indicator of what players are able to remember and how fast they're able to remember them. If you have a lot of things in production tab and low money, it means you're able to remember to produce things very frequently. There's not a lot of downtime between when you remember to do stuff and when you need to do stuff, or it should be the other way around. A low bank means there's very low downtime between when you need to make stuff and when you remember to make stuff. That I would say is more the determinant of how fast you are in StarCraft. But again, that's not how fast you click. It's how fast you remember. And yes, it's true. It does get better with more playing time. And it's also true that if you get into 1v1 now, you'll likely be crushed for like several dozen games, because you'll be likely going up against players who've been playing the game. Well, StarCraft is not a new game. StarCraft's been around for like 20 years at this point. Well, StarCraft 1 was a 1998 game. It's been around for 26 years. StarCraft 1 has been around for 26 years. StarCraft 2 was a 2010 game, and it's been around for, well, 14 years. So, yeah, both of these are old games, and most of the players who are playing them have also been playing from day one. But hear me out here. You don't have to play versus. If you're watching this, you know I prefer that everyone play co-op instead of versus, because it's a lot easier to get into, because you don't have to do everything yourself. Most players who play co-op these days have a measure of familiarity of what to do in most situations. So you can just hop in, just contribute what you can. If you're not comfortable playing on brutal, that's fine. I myself, when I started playing co-op, I played on normal difficulty. I didn't play my first brutal game until like what, a month, 2 months into playing co-op. Of course, I eventually moved on to brutal, and I'm doing brutal mutations now. But yeah, when I first started playing co-op, it was about normal for me because it was fun. It was fun for me to just fully clear the map and just generally stomp all over Amon. That was fun for me, and I'm sure for a lot of players who play on lower difficulty, it's fun for them. I get it. I get the appeal, and I still get that appeal. But I figure that hey, if I step it up on hard, it might be even more fun because there are more stuff to destroy. There are more stuff to clear, more stuff for you to do, instead of just the same few buildings over and over again. So I went up to hard, and when that got easy, I also went up to brutal. My first brutal game was pretty rough. I think that was on Missed Opportunities. No, not Missed Opportunities. It was not around yet. No, Missed Opportunities was the map that's added after Dawn Vermilion. The first brutal game I played, I think, was in Temple of the Past. That one is not an easy map. It's one of the oldest maps in co-op, but it's not an easy map because the waves come at you continuously, and you have to destroy all those waves in time. And I remember letting the temple take significant damage, even on regular brutal, without mutators. This is without mutators. I let the temple take a lot of damage, several hundred damage, maybe 1,000 or 2 damage, but it was a lot of damage on regular brutal. And it wasn't even, I was playing Raynor then, but back in 2016 when I first started playing co-op, Raynor was better then. He had double mules, he had invulnerable spider mines. Now in I believe it's 2018, 2017, Blizzard nerfed Raynor to have his mines be destroyable as they were moving, because previously Raynor spider mines became invincible when they were activated and they were heading toward the enemy. The enemy couldn't shoot them down, basically. It was nerfed in I forgot the year. 2016, 2017, one of those years. 2018, maybe that. They changed how Raynor's mines worked. They removed the double mule, and they made Raynor's mines vulnerable to enemy fire when unburrowing, and that made him really weak. But that was not the Raynor I played in 2016. He was, I would say, better than, of course, no prestigious yet, but he was better than basic Raynor today, I would say. But yeah, I still didn't play well enough. But when I came out victorious, I was like, yeah, this is good. I can do this. Maybe it's just because I was confident in my own ability, or maybe overconfident. Maybe I forget these days. Maybe my ally carried me that game. I don't know. But the fact remains, I liked winning in brutal, so I just kept playing it. And now I'm just doing dumb stuff like this. Look at this. I have 231 infested Terrans on the field. Actually, it's infested civilians. And I have 128 infested troopers. That's insane. My ally had 59 wraiths. I think my ally took my gases? No, he did. Yeah, he did. Oh wait, no, these are my refineries. Yeah, both of these are my refineries. He just droned them. It's pretty funny. But yeah, anyway, back to the challenge. You can see whenever I'm doing something productive, whenever I'm doing something productive, my APM will actually plummet. But like, now I'm just spamming. Where's my spamming thing? Where is it? Do you guys see it? Because it's currently at 700 APM, so I must be spamming. Okay, now I'm looking here. Okay, here it is. You can see the spam. It's just spamming. Allies here, ready to help out. Yeah, yeah, just APM, guys. You know, my big takeaway from this challenge that I set myself. Oh, it's a huge storm on my allies' rates. Of course, ally continuously storming overdudes until they were no longer overdudes. But the main takeaway I got from this challenge is that it was actually harder to maintain the APM. Like, I got a new respect for Rainer, the pro gamer, after this game. Because, like, maintaining the APM, maintaining the actions per minute was harder than winning the game. Like, I was on cruise control this game. Look, there are no enemy buildings remaining. And we're just kind of camping Amon here. Got a wave here or there, but my units were fine. They would clean up. But yeah, it was actually harder for me to maintain the APM than it was to win the game. And that's kind of funny. But still, I actually chose this map. I remember not specifically not playing random. I specifically chose missed opportunities for this challenge because I knew that this would happen. Basically, I had a lot of downtime just waiting for Amon to send wave after wave, and that meant plenty of time for me maxed out to just spam my side emitter all over the place and just get all that inflated APM. Look at that. Getting so much fake APM. 1700 APM. That's wild. That makes me think. How does Rainer, the pro gamer, do the APM thing and still play productively? I'm sure it had something to do with... I know pro gamers like Rainer have a specialized, I think, keyboard that unlocks the repeat rate. My keyboard repeat rate is like standard, the max you can get on Windows on a basic keyboard. I believe his keyboard is different, or he got a different macro program that allows you to really hold down and just get like 1,000 clicks per second or something crazy like that. But you know, it's Cymeter is really good. Look at this. So end of the game. So this is the end of the game. And my average APM is not only 1,000 but like 1,295, almost 1,300 APM average for the entire game, just because I was mashing a keyboard. That's it. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a challenge, everyone. It's just a regular Stukov game, and it was actually harder for me this game, just holding down the repeat rate of the keyboard, than it was to actually play the game. And I specifically chose Stukov, a commander who doesn't require a lot of control, because I wanted to spend more time spamming APM than I was actually beating the game, because that's what the challenge called for. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for what else to do, please leave it in a comment. I'll see you guys next time.